Sometimes you just gotta get to the chopper. That's right. I want to talk a little bit about sci-fi and fantasy and time travel tonight. uh, First of all, I want to say I had a really good time doing the two-parter last night with Nick. And our next topic will have something to do with Dungeons and Dragons and the creative aspect of it. We haven't quite narrowed it down, but it's going to happen. Like I said, I got Chris, his brother, coming up. And I don't know what we're going to talk about. It's going to be a lot of fun anyway. Just because I've learned that when you do have two people here, you can kind of play off of each other. I noticed the volume was better too. I think it's because I knew I was aware that I was talking to someone rather than just talking to people right in front of me on the microphone that aren't here. You're here, just not here. So I heard a rumor. So many rumors floating around about episode 7 ever since like the whole Harrison Ford injured his leg, broke his leg. Talking about Tom Cruise coming in to do a cameo maybe, or maybe even picking up a bigger role now that Harrison Ford's hurt. I hope not. I mean, I'm not a huge Tom Cruise fan, but I don't dislike him either. Like, if you watch Magnolia, I thought he was phenomenal in that. And I think some of his more serious roles I like. I can't think of another example, so maybe I'm lying. But, and he's not a bad action actor either. And a lot of people have a lot of problems with him. Like, well, he's, what is that? Scientologist, and like, his little outbreaks and rumors of him being gay. It's like, none of that stuff should really matter. Like, yeah, he's a little weird. But aren't we all a little weird? I'm fucking crazy weird, I think. I mean, maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm more normal than Tom Cruise. I don't know. I'm definitely sexier. I want to thank Vic Sizemore. I'm out of vodka right now. It's a bit of a conundrum. And so I had Kahlua, or Kapali, and I had Coke, and he said that they taste pretty good together. So I looked up a recipe on like how to mix it, like how much of each, and it is good. It's really good. It's almost like vanilla Coke, but with like a coffee liqueur instead of a vanilla flavor. So episode 7, yeah, man, I am ecstatic about it. Like, I know I've mentioned this again, but I just feel like a little kid. When I think about Star Wars, it reminds me of being a little kid and my first memories in life and just enjoying, like, collecting the figures and, like, reading books about it. And just, it was just awesome. Like, great time, like, to be a kid. And I remember it. It's the first few memories of life that I remember. I remember sitting in a theater and actually I think it was the re-release. It was either 78 or 80 or something. And I remember seeing it for the first time, and I remember my uncle and my grandmother being there, and I think my dad was there too. I can't really remember. I have a horrible cut on my leg. I don't know where that came from. Probably a lightsaber. And so when I heard, they were Disney bought Lucasfilm and stuff, I didn't think it was such a bad idea, because at least it would live on. Like, it seems like George Lucas, like, he took forever to decide things and make sure they were perfect before they could go out. Like the TV show he had planned. He had like 100 episodes written. And I heard some of the plots of those episodes, actually. I don't know if it was true or not, but like how Han met Chewie, basically. And Han winning the Millennium Falcon. Bill Mayer extended to be. From Lando. And just a lot of really how the whole situation with Boba Fett and how they had, like, I think they had a previous history or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. But, like, it took him so long to actually, he was waiting for the technology to catch up for television. I mean, Battlestar Galactica looked phenomenal. He should just punch that ticket, because I don't think it's going to happen now. And I would like to have seen how well it played out. Maybe it'd be terrible. Maybe it'd be awesome, and like HBO would pick it up and they could go crazy with it. I mean, that's the problem though with Star Wars now, and even before then. It's always really been for kids, even though even as an adult I like it just as much. So you can't really put those R ratings on there and, like, get real violent with them. And I mean, that's cool, because I mean, that's not really what Star Wars is, but at least with episode 3 they got the PG-13 rating and they could do a little more. Not a ton more, but enough. So what else have I heard? I heard that there's Inquisitor and three... Oh, these may be spoiler alerts, by the way. I'm so sorry. If you're not wanting to read... I'll put a spoiler alert warning on this video. Okay. Spoiler alert. Yeah. So hopefully... Yeah. It doesn't matter. You'll never see it if you don't want spoilers from episode 7. Unless you really like my show that much that it's better than episode 7. That'd be awesome. Anywho, so yeah, these three Jedi hunters basically wearing Mandalorian armor supposedly are after the Jedi, trying to wipe them out. So that means that Luke did go on to train other people. There are other storylines that go on to say that because he's been busy fighting them all these years, he hasn't been able to like rebuild the Jedi Academy. And in the rumor today, which sounds the most viable and most interesting so far, is that Luke has been fighting these Jedi hunters for the last 30 years, and they're all over the galaxy. They're all trying to get him or whatever. Huge bounties, I would imagine, on his head or whatever like that. So he eventually goes into hiding. Well, something arises that, Leia and Han need him. Maybe it's their son or daughter or something's wrong. He's turned to the dark side or something. I think they did that in the comics and books and stuff like that. So, yeah, so that would mean putting the focus on Han trying to find Luke in the first episode, or episode 7 rather. I would imagine not for the whole movie, though. To keep Luke held back like that, I don't know. Like, I think you gotta start it with him kicking ass. Like, you want to see... I mean, he's older now, obviously, but... Like, I'm pretty sure they're gonna have him do fancier stuff than he's done in the other movies. Not that anything he's done has been terrible. I'm just saying that I think that after seeing what Jedi can do in, like, the prequels... Not to say that the movies were good at all, but, like... The speed that they moved at, the jumping that they could do, just their ability with a lightsaber or 2 lightsabers, like, it was amazing, like, at least that part of it. And so I expect to see some of that in these movies. I don't want to see, episode 1, or episode 4, rather, that was horrible. Like, they didn't have a choreographer for the fight scenes, so they just had to come up with it on the fly. And, yeah, it wasn't the most epic of lightsaber battles. But, a happy medium. It doesn't have to be super crazy, but I just want to see Luke doing some cool shit with a lightsaber again. I don't know. It's weird. I don't know how... YouTube is awesome and the devil. Like, it's so easy to watch a video of something you're interested in. And then all of a sudden see something on the side, you're like, what the hell is that? Like today, I looked up Super Predator shark. There's a 9-foot shark I told you about a few weeks ago that disappeared, got eaten by a larger creature, and then the tracker, it showed where the other creature was traveling during that time, and then the tracker was found on the shore. So I think I did a search on that because I wanted to see if there's anything new out there, a new video on it or anything, and nothing had surfaced. So I noticed another video that came up was about, let me get this in the right order, like sea monsters that are washed up on shore that are just absolutely, gargantuan in size. And like they had one video, I could only find one video, and it was, pretty untamperable. Like it looked pretty like older and like legit. I mean, not older, like 80s, 90s or something. It was after a tsunami, this giant creature. Like, you could only see part of it. Half of it was in the ocean, the other half was... And, I mean, it was, like 5, 6 stories tall and, like, almost like a Godzilla type thing. It's crazy, but... And then there was another video about, like, it showed... a picture of a dragon, basically, the carcass of what appeared to be a dragon being pulled out of the ocean. And that looked like a dragon, the way the joints and everything you would expect it to work on a dragon, oddly enough, you know what I mean? Maybe it was a movie prop or something. This isn't bad. It's no White Russian, but it's pretty good. Good replacement. And then it was videos of the gray ones, the aliens and stuff like that. And a lot of them, I gotta say, I mean, I know a lot of them are probably hoaxes, but there's a few that look really good. Like, I'm thinking, like, how the hell do they do this? I gotta turn the screensaver off. It keeps kicking on. I've been turning it on more often because the new monitor I got sucks terribly. And so hopefully eventually I can replace it. But at least having it's a huge help, so I shouldn't really complain. But everything burns into the screen very quickly on it. Like, and it goes away, within an hour or so. But like, it's so easy to get this temporary burn in. It's an LED monitor. I mean, it's not a bad monitor. It's, I don't know. I don't get it. Anywho, Star Wars Jedis. And then I was watching the videos, yeah. So, there's a lot of videos of aliens and spaceships, and I'm watching these and I'm going, some of these don't look fake. And one of them was, I remember it was around 95, 96 or something. There were all those lights over New Mexico in the sky, and then a few weeks later it happened again somewhere else, and then there was the individual one over Mount Sinai, wherever, biblically, it's a biblical Mount of Olives, I can't remember which one it is, but where something about Jesus had happened. And so the light comes down from the sky and it hovers above it, maybe 100 feet above it or 40 feet above it, whatever. And then it just, boom, it just shoots back straight up into the sky. I was like, and it was on a newscast. Like, it wasn't just like, somebody's home video. And I'm thinking, all right, why haven't we heard more about that? Like, why haven't we investigated that? Why are there people looking into that? Is it a cover-up? Is he back? That was one of the quotes. Then, I know this is getting there. There was a guy, and a guy who looked a lot like him, but probably 40 years older, standing next to each other. And it said he time traveled and met himself in the future, and they spent some time together and had a great time, and he came back. And he wasn't the kind of guy that wanted to, like, get attention from it. Like, he's like, I really don't care if anybody believes me or not. I know what I experienced, and it's personal to me, so it shouldn't matter anyway. Like, that's it. And, like, he didn't say much else about it. Like, but he said he was under his sink. There was water coming out from under his sink. And he opened up the doors, looking for the pipes, and he crawled back. And all of a sudden he looks up, and he crawls forward a little more, and he's following the pipes. And before he realizes it, he's in way deeper than, like, it should allow him to. Suddenly he sees a light at the end of the tunnel, and he comes through, and there is him, like I said, like 40 years later. And he took a picture of it. He had a phone. He had his camera with him, so he video recorded part of it and stuff like that. They had the same tattoo on the same arms. And like I said, this might be a hoax. Like, I'm not firmly a huge believer. Maybe there's something more to it than just time travel, you know what I mean? Like, maybe there's a spiritual aspect to it. A lot of people just think of it scientifically, like, well, to travel back or forward in time, this is what you would have to do. You'd have to get to this speed, and be able to go through a wormhole, or whatever. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying that this was one of the most interesting stories I've ever seen, because the guy really didn't seem like he cared too much about what people thought about it. Like, and most people, when that happens to them, I mean, they may not care so much, but, like, you can tell that they're like, seriously, this happened. This really happened. Like, a desperation to them. Maybe that's how they convince people. I don't know. And then there was another video of another gentleman that went back. No, he went forward in time to like 2739 through 2741 or something, or 42. And he was just telling a story about what he experienced in the future. And I was like, Jesus Christ, like, that's crazy. Like, I mean, it's probably fake, like I said, but I like believing in stuff like that. So that's what leads me to believe that in both of the stories, like, it was a personal account. Like, it was like, it wasn't like, I don't know how to explain it. It wasn't like they went out of their way to time travel. They didn't have to do anything to time travel. Like, and I'm not, like I said, I know I'm repeating myself, but I don't want you to think I'm that crazy. Like it's probably a hoax. But on the off chance that it isn't, this is What If Wednesday. What if time travel was possible? Like, and what if it has nothing to do with moving faster than the speed of light? Or what if it's like an internal thing? What if it was I don't know, an emotion that you controlled, or like a remote control in your head or something? I don't know. Like I said, I have no idea. But being what if, I think, well, what if I could time travel? Would I time travel back or forward? And why? I pose this question to you. What do you think? What would you do? Chris? Nick? Sean? Pete? Anybody? My quiet listeners? Anybody else? I'd like to know. I mean, I think maybe I'll give it a week, and next week we'll come back and do it, because it's a deep one. Like, I don't know. I mean, there's so many instances growing up. Like, I could go back just into my past to experience growing up with my father again or something, you know what I mean? Because I have no real memories of him. And then I think about going way back and like changing something in history, like, or I guess that's another thing too, is the whole Heisenberg theory, where you can't time travel because you could kill your grandfather or keep your grandparents from ever meeting, and then you would cease to exist, so you would never have come back in the first place to stop what was happening. But there's a second theory that says you create parallel universes when that happen, and that they already exist. You're just moving into them because that's part of that universe. So back or forward? If there was no consequences of going back, yeah, let's add that into the mix. Because if you're like, well, what if I, kill Hitler? Like, that, there's too much stuff that could change between then and now. Like, so we'll say there's no consequences to your actions. I mean, things like doing that, obviously, a lot of people would say, yeah, I'd do that, or I'd go back and make myself a fortune, or, but then, to be able to see what is to come in an age that I will never know, like, who knows? The Earth may be gone, or we've evolved into these amazing creatures that, like, smartened up along the way somewhere, and we live in a beautiful paradise or something, I just don't know. Or what if the future ends in 10 minutes and I waste my trip forward or back? No. Do I have to answer it one way or the other? I could answer it both ways. This is my show. I can do that. There's nothing stopping me. So, let me answer it both ways. If I could go back in time, I think I'd want to go back... Alright, wait a minute. Can I jump around? Like, can I go back? Or is it just one time? I'm going to say I can go wherever I want, whenever I want. But I can only go back in this scenario. Okay, let's stop this here. We'll call the next video Back, and then the one following Forward. Okay, thanks for coming out. I hope you're loving it. I hope you come back and watch these next two parts that I'm going to do. And if you are loving them, please subscribe, like them, comment, share them with your friends, your family, your co-workers, everyone in the world. Actually, go out and get a Chimp Mail account and buy 1 million subscribers, and then send them a link to this. No, you don't have to do that. But yeah, do me a solid. And don't forget to make somebody smile tomorrow. Make yourself a better person than you were today. And we'll make the world spin a little happier together. Thanks for always coming by and supporting me, and the kind words and everything. It means a lot to me, and you're making this road very fun and exciting and sometimes emotional. So you guys stay tuned, and I will see you in Back.